Hey guys, it's obviously your boy, Otaku, whatever. I can't remember my own fucking username right now. Shit. Uh, and I'm coming back from actually going into Portland, Oregon, to actually watch the Xbox showcase today, uh, in an actual movie theater. And I wanted to give my, reactions to the whole thing. So, trying not to do that and trying to focus. But anyway, so I wanted to give my whole take on the conference. Now, I wasn't wowed this year. There wasn't that many, great stuff that was, showcased. Funny enough, I'll just use the terminology. There wasn't that many good stuff that was showcased, which is kind of disappointing and sad. Uh, we did get obviously an actual look at Fable, so that game is still being worked on and coming out. It wasn't fucking ghost canceled or whatever. It actually is coming out, so that's good to know. And then on top of that, we got Star Wars Outlaws, which looks really fucking fantastic. That game is this, you're this bounty hunter, smuggler sort of character, which I'm excited for because of the fact that uh, you get to play just a regular character of just living in Star Wars. Because we get so many games where you get to live the high fantasy of Star Wars, where I want to live the low fantasy of Star Wars. And what I mean by that is you're not this chosen one, this destined one. You're not this fucking Jedi or Sith, right? Which is fun and all, but that's pretty much like all the Star Wars games we get is you're this chosen one, or you're a Jedi or Sith, or you are working on the front lines as a Republic commando, or something like that. No, I just want to play a regular Joe Schmo character in Star Wars, just getting to a chance to let these planets live and breathe, right? I get to actually experience what it's like to go to a cantina, as just a regular customer. To be like, hey, you got any questions for me? You got something for me? What's up? Right? Just live the, sort of Western RPG of being in the Star Wars galaxy. So that's really cool and all, and I am super excited for that. Was disappointed that there was a full CGI trailer and not actual gameplay. Because again, as per usual as a gamer, full CGI trailers are great for letting, for letting these, developers and these studios to know, yes, we are working on this. But as a gamer, what I care about most is how does the game run? Does it run at 30 frames per second? Does it run at 60 frames per second? How's the combat like? What's the UI like? Stuff like that. I like to see like in-engine stuff. Cinematics is fun and fine and all that good stuff, but I like to see actual gameplay. So we'll see where that goes. We'll see where that leads. But other than that, great. I love that. So yeah, we got Fable, we got Star Wars Galaxies, we had a few other stuff. All of it, what I liked most about this conference was the fact that there was this diverse range of gameplay experiences, because it would be far too easy for Xbox to lean heavily into what people assume the Xbox brand is, which is basically Western action games and first and third person shooters, right? So they could have just done that, because the problem I have is that, we'll still have the Sony diehard fanboys use this conference to say the Xbox has no games, right? Hashtag Xbox has no games. Like, we'll still have that conversation. But the problem I have with the Sony fanboys is they need to understand that the PlayStation has no games. And by that I mean the PlayStation mainly has just one genre. Every single first party Sony game is the same thing. It's a single player, heavily story driven, third person action adventure game, right? It's either that or it's a third person action adventure platformer, but heavily cinematic and story driven and stuff like that. right? If I were to hand you a PlayStation 5 controller and play like 4 different Sony, published games, other than the art style and the specific story being told, like the underlying gameplay mechanics would make you ask the question, am I just playing the same game over and over again? Because really you are. For the most part, you really are. So yes, while Sony may have quote unquote games, it's pretty much the exact same game, right? It'd be like if the Xbox, just again at this conference, just showed first person shooter, third person shooter, third person shooter, first person shooter, third person shooter, racing game, right? If they did that, then the Xbox showcase would be pretty much the exact same as a Sony showcase. But luckily they didn't, and Xbox, to their credit, has a very eclectic, very wide-ranging, string of games. So that coming out between this year and next year, there will be at least 1 to 2 games that will hit somebody's niche, right? There is a wide-ranging amount of games, so that there's something for everybody in the Xbox Games Pass, which is great to know. And and that's why I like the Xbox brand over the PlayStation brand. Even though I don't have a console, I'm a PC gamer first and foremost. And so it really doesn't matter to me, because even now Sony is publishing their games, sure, a few years later, but again, so there might be Sony fanboys out there going, well, when Spider-Man 2 comes out, you're, as a PC gamer, if you don't have a PlayStation, then you're not going to be able to play it. Oh no. Cries in my Steam library. Cries in my Epic Games library. Cries in my Game Pass library. Oh no. I have absolutely nothing to play. Nothing at all to play. I can't play anything. Because it's not like by having a Windows gaming PC that I can play every single new game that gets published to the PC, from now on into the future. Not only that, but since Windows is built on code going all the way back to DOS, all I have to do is click this little .exe called DOSBox, and I can play games going all the way back to the 1970s. Oh no! As a PC gamer, I have nothing at all to play. Oh, cry. I'm just gonna cry. Yes, I totally need a PlayStation. No. Even if it takes 4 or 5 years after, Spider-Man 2 comes out on the PS5 for it to get ported over to the PC, that means absolutely nothing to me. I have just like every PC gamer, I have a giant catalog from the summer sales, and especially the summer sale coming up later this month, where I'm going to have an increasingly massive library of games that I haven't even installed years after buying them. So, oh no, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself, being the fact that I have to wait for Spider-Man 2 to come out on the PC. Oh, so sad. Oh, I'm just gonna cry. I'm just gonna go into a corner and cry. No. So yeah, you Sony fanboys out there, I'm fine. As a PC gamer, as a PC exclusive gamer, I don't have a console, by the way. I don't have a Switch. I don't have an Xbox. I don't have a PlayStation. I don't have any console at all. I am PC exclusive, and guess what? I'm fine. I am doing just fine. Thank you very much. So you would ask yourself, well, why would you watch the Xbox Games Showcase if you don't have an Xbox? Well, because thanks to Phil Spencer and his Play Anywhere program, a hefty majority, there are still console exclusive games, but a hefty majority of Xbox games and games published by Microsoft will also be available on the PC, and a heavy majority of them will be published on Steam. Not every game is going to be published on Steam. I did notice that there were a bunch of games that lacked the Steam logo in their trailers. So not every single game will be published on Steam, but a lot of them will be. And even for the games not published on Steam, if they are available on the PC, the great backup will be that you could get them through the Xbox Games Pass app there. So even if it's not available on Steam, I'd have to pay, what is it, like $10, $11, $12 a month or whatever, and get Xbox Game Pass, and we're all fine. I can still install the game, still play it on my PC, and not only that, I'll be getting graphically the best version of the game, because obviously the PC can run the game way better than a stagnant console. Because while the Xbox Series X is a powerful gaming computer to be sure, it is stagnant. The graphics architecture cannot change until they release a whole new version of the console. Whereas obviously as a PC gamer, it's like, I want more powerful graphics card. Literally just buys a new graphics card and slaps that into the machine, and there you go. You're off to the races, and now you can run the game at beyond ultra settings, so that you can run the game at a far superior graphical setting than the Xbox Series X ever could, because the whole point of the Series X is to have a stable frame rate. Whereas with some gamers, with the PC, you get that choice. You can get, ultra stable frame rates by running the game at lower settings, or you can have the game have suboptimal frame rates, but have amazing screenshots by running the game at beyond ultra settings. So, again, great thing about being a PC gamer is you get that choice. So, with that, again, there of course there's a bunch of other games that I'm forgetting about, because they had a bunch, like one after the other. They had like City Skylines 2. They had Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 edition, which looks really cool because they're adding a bunch of stuff. They're adding like a bunch of really cool, like they're adding the fact that you can play a pilot doing actual jobs, like being like flight rescue, and I guess for those who have the fantasy of being the pilot for like UPS, you could do that. But so they're adding a bunch of actual like jobs and things you could do in Flight Simulator, which is really cool. But my favorite aspect was their Dune collaboration, where you can actually pilot those really cool fucking Firefly looking planes from Dune. And it looked like they were also adding the planet of Arrakis to fly around in, or maybe that's not Arrakis, maybe that's just like a deserty, Arrakis looking area of Earth. I don't know, but I just know that I'm really excited to play it, to fly around the cool spaceships and stuff from Dune. So that looks really cool, and that got me excited, mainly as like a Dune fan, because I really like the books and the movies and stuff. So yeah, so that's really cool. What else is there? What else am I missing? I was disappointed for an Xbox showcase. I was disappointed that there was nothing like Halo related talked about. That's kind of disappointing. Yeah, as a Halo fan, there's like absolutely nothing Halo related that was talked about at the showcase. So that's really kind of disappointing. Or even Call of Duty or anything like that. The only thing shown from let's be honest, the upcoming definitive purchase of Activision Blizzard, the only thing that was talked about in terms of that was Overwatch 2, but to be fair, that's a multi-platform game, so yeah. But again, that was the only thing that was talked about or even addressed, was Overwatch 2. So there's that. But so there's not a whole heck of a lot that was really exciting at this. And again, it's why this is a really disappointing conference in all reality, that there's really nothing that was really all that exciting. Like I said, all I can really say is that there was this, again, an eclectic thing of games. So there's at least something for everybody here. There's JRPGs coming. There's The Persona 3 remake coming. There's a Persona 5 tie-in game. It looks like a pseudo sequel, continues the story of Persona 5, but in a isometric sort of top-down tactics game, which is cool for those who like that. For me, I'm not really a tactics fan. I'm not really a strategy game fan. So more than likely what I'll do is I'll just watch YouTube videos, going into the story so that so because I do like Persona 5. I play Persona 5. So because I of course want to, see where this game goes in terms of further exploring the story of Persona 5, but I'm not a tactics fan, so more likely what I'll do is I'll just like watch like a story breakdown on YouTube or something. But so again, I'm not really gonna play that game or get it, because again, not really a strategy or tactics fan. Big old action gamer, first person shooter dum dum right here. But the main thing that was the big showcase, obviously, was basically, it was either like 30 minutes to almost, it felt like an hour long, really in-depth showcase of Starfield. And I'll say this for Starfield: I am way more excited for that game now than I ever was. Like when it was originally showed off, I was lukewarm on the game. It's like, okay, it's a new Bethesda game, sure. Well, but again, the whole bad taste of Fallout 76 and stuff like that, it's like, okay, Bethesda, what's going on? But now that they've shown it, it's like, oh, this is basically, this is, I'm calling it now. This is Bethesda's take on what is it? Like No Man's Sky. This is Bethesda's take on No Man's Sky. And that's really exciting to see, because there's so many just intricate little systems in there. You can do full ship customization in every part, And what I like about it is that, I like to, explain games by comparing them and contrasting them to other games. So the ship building is basically like a little bit more of an in-depth ship builder of like the gummy ship system from Kingdom Hearts, where you take individual pieces and you just combine them. So I really like that, though, because it means that you don't have to be, a fucking uber smart shipbuilder to build these ships. You could just like slap pieces together and call it cool. So there's that. You can actually have like a full crew on your ship and all of that. So that's really exciting, because it allows me to experience the same sort of fantasy that really drawed me to Mass Effect, but like the later Mass Effect games kind of just like dropped that. That's why to this day I prefer the first Mass Effect game in comparison to 2 and 3, because I get it. Like the stories of 2 and 3 are really cool, but in terms of like pure raw gameplay, I prefer Mass Effect 1, because like I really like the idea of getting to actually feel, in terms of gameplay and walking around the ship, what it feels like to actually be a space commander and a captain of my own spaceship. Like I like that whole fantasy of being like having a full crew that you can actually chat with and are actually named NPCs, and you can actually go up to them and be like, yo, I want you to come out with me. I want you to come out with me on an away mission with me and do all sorts of cool stuff. Or you can give them jobs like, okay, you get to be my science officer here on my spaceship. Or furthermore, you can actually assign them to your outpost. So you can be like, yeah, I want you on this outpost of mine, doing stuff for me. So that's really cool. It really just is this giant whole thing. Like I said, basically it is Bethesda's take on No Man's Sky, whereas with No Man's Sky, obviously, its big thing is that it randomly generates these planets. So there's literally pretty much an endless amount of planets to explore in No Man's Sky. Whereas what Bethesda does is that they too use the like procedural generation systems to generate the planets. But unlike with No Man's Sky, they take a more smarter thing of, okay, we're going to procedurally generate these planets as like the template. So they have this procedural generation system where it builds this template of a planet, and then the designers go in and do their and like hand edit those planets from there to make it, up to the, what I would say, like when I say Bethesda quality, because a lot of people say, Fallout 76, but I mean like the old Bethesda quality, like, of handcrafting these places and making them interesting, like in Fallout 4, Fallout 3, and Skyrim. What this felt like is what it felt like when they kept going into it is this is a true return to form for Bethesda to go back to their Skyrim days when they were on top of the world. So it really feels like basically Skyrim or Fallout in space, which is really great. Again, not Fallout 76, like Fallout 3 and 4 and Skyrim in space. Like that old style Bethesda where they're just giving you these in-depth systems that you can just mess around with for days and months and years. They did not bring up mods, but it being a Bethesda game made on the Creation Engine, like I am like 99.99% sure that this game will support mods. Most definitely. And probably on the consoles as well, because again, all Bethesda has to do is bring over their whole modding system for consoles that they put into Skyrim and Fallout. So they can just bring that over to Starfield, and the game will pretty much, just like any Bethesda game, be ageless, to the point where, just like with Skyrim and Fallout, they can just keep reporting the game for years to any new future consoles that come out. Like they can, like, again, because Xbox doesn't use numbers, but we'll just say, like, whatever the PS6 or PS7 generation of Xboxes are available, they can just keep reporting Starfield to that, because again, the mods and the modding scene will keep the game fresh for so long. And being the fact that this is a science fiction based game built in space, I am beyond certain that through the mods there will be probably endless amounts of Star Wars and Star Trek content to enjoy. And with the shipbuilding in the game, like, I don't know how they would do it, because I'm not a programmer, and I don't make mods, so I don't do any of that stuff. I'm not a game designer of any sort, but like in my head, like, what would be really cool, what would be amazing, is if I could get the TARDIS from Doctor Who as a spaceship. If somebody can figure out how to make the TARDIS for Starfield, boy, immediate download, I don't care. Like, that is an immediate download, right? Fucking TARDIS, being able to fly around space in my own TARDIS? Oh, dude, yes. But even then, even if it's, but like, that's fine. Again, I would easily take also any of the starships from Star Trek or Star Wars, because again, this is again a space exploration game. Let's be honest. Let's all be honest with everybody. Somebody at some point is going to jam in the Millennium Falcon into this game. Let's be honest. The Millennium Falcon is like going to be in this game. But and for the Star Trek nerds, probably we're gonna get the Enterprise. I would love for more of the other Star Trek ships, but the first one we're gonna get is the Enterprise. It's the iconic one. It's the one that we're guaranteed to get, just like with the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, and probably an X-wing and a TIE fighter. But other than that, yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited for all the in-depth little mechanics they have in the game. You can fully romance characters, which is really nice because I like romancing. So another feature I like from Mass Effect is in this game. What I really like, again, is that it's basically just Mass Effect meets No Man's Sky. Is the best way I could really explain it. And when I say Mass Effect, I mean, again, Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect 1 meets No Man's Sky. That's gets you kind of close to what Starfield is looking like, and that's really fucking cool. As a fan of both of those games, oh, that's really fucking cool. Oh yeah, I am fucking hyped for this. This is, oh, yes. Now that I've actually seen and what you can do in Starfield, and like all the little intricate mechanics that you can play around with, Oh yeah. Once this game comes out this year, I'm going to be playing this game for years to come because there's going to be so much content. There's well over in the base game over 1,000 planets. And when I say the base game is because we're talking about Bethesda. Let's be fair. We are talking about Bethesda. We are going to get expansions to this game. We are going to get expansions and DLC for this game. So the base game having over 1,000 planets, I will not be shocked at all if later on Bethesda announces that we're going to get extra little content and probably more planets to explore and future DLC and expansions, mainly due to the fact that this is the main Bethesda Game Studios game that's going to be launching and will be supported for a little while because this is the game that's going to be released to tide us over until their next game, which everyone knows because it was announced literally 5 years ago now, is Elder Scrolls. The next major game after this is Elder Scrolls, but more than likely, since we have not seen a peep of that game, is it's still way in development. But with all the little intricate mechanics to the game engine that are being shown off for Starfield, it's got me really excited for the next Elder Scrolls game because they can, again, just being the fact that all these games are made on the same engine, they can just take all the little updates to the engine that they made for Starfield and take them over to Elder Scrolls. Now, of course, you wouldn't be able to explore planets, but like for example, the new lighting effects that they made for Starfield, the upgraded character models they made for Starfield, the character creator they made for Starfield, they'll be able to easily take that over to the next Elder Scrolls and really just go and really just give us the true next generation Elder Scrolls game that we've all been excited for after we've all spent millions of hours now, let's be honest, potentially even billions, in Skyrim. Like, we've fully explored Skyrim. Skyrim's great, but we are sitting here, sitting pretty, waiting for the true next generation Elder Scrolls game that truly can just show us what modern ray traced gaming consoles can do with Elder Scrolls. So yeah. But other than that, that's everything I have to say about the Xbox conference. I thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. If you more than likely tabbed out and just listened to my voice. Either case, I am the Otaku Shunsaku. I'm Otaku Shunsaku. There you go. Remember my name, Otaku Shunsaku, and I am out of here. Bye.